Good afternoon. I'm Joy Wilkins. I'm the Director of Professional Development for the International Hearing Society. As we get started, please locate the note-taking guide for this general session on page 17 of your event directory. You will earn 1 continuing education credit for this afternoon's presentation, and be sure to have your attendance record form punched on the way out. And if you're wearing a hearing aid with a T-coil, please activate the T-coil setting. This room is looped. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Zellmer from Phonak, the sponsor of today's general session. Jennifer is the Territory Manager for Phonak, so please give a warm IHS welcome to Jennifer Zellmer.
Well, thank you for having me. I am very excited to introduce our speaker for today, Kordell Norton. Mr. Norton is a revenue mechanic for organizations to grow sales and create marketing, specifically marketing that connects and stands out, as I'm sure that's a topic of great interest to everybody. He also specializes in developing leadership that inspires. Just want to tell you a little bit about his background. His consulting firm works with organizations ranging from IBM and L'Oreal to university hospitals and government associations. His previous experience includes managing marketing budgets for some pretty big companies like Hewlett-Packard, IBM, and Apple. He's been a VP or a vice president of a large call center, has worked in sales and management, and been a human resources director for a large company. In his free time, Mr. Kordell has been an adjunct faculty member to 7 universities and written 5 books, included his most recent book called Throwing Gas in the Fire, and we've all been lucky enough to receive a copy today on your chair. I was lucky enough to have mine signed by him. So now you're going to have to sign about 500 more. The line starts here. I had the pleasure of meeting him last night, and I assure you that today's presentation will not be a snoozer. It's going to be quite exciting. I was reading a little bit about his background, and one person described his presentation style as like watching popcorn pop without a lid. So today's presentation should be quite exciting for all of us. Please join me in welcoming Kordell Norton.
You did great. She read that just like my mom wrote it. I have learned one joke that I have never been able to tell. It's the only joke I've ever screwed up. But this is the first time I have a place to tell this joke. So it goes like this. A guy's walking down the road, and he looks, and here comes one of his patients, Charlie. Charlie's just grinning. He's got his arm around the most beautiful blonde. They're just walking down the street, he's just smiling. And he said, Charlie, what are you doing? He says, well, Doc, I'm following your advice. What's that? Well, you told me to get cheerful and get a hot mama. He said, Charlie, I told you be careful, you've got a heart murmur. I'll never get to tell that again. Well, so recently I was sitting in the library with my friend Bob, and we were talking, and all of a sudden in this quiet library, I heard the sound of quack, 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 and I thought, what the heck is going on? And Bob hits his chest, and he goes, oh, no, can't be there. Be there in about an hour. Hits his chest, and I went, what just happened? Uninitiated, uninformed. So Bionic Bob tells me, because Bob's a performer, Bionic Bob tells me about his neat auditory hearing devices, and I'm thinking, that's what I want, to be able to answer the phone. What a great experience. So I wrote about Bionic Bob goes quack, quack, quack. Great story, got great following. Well, we're going to talk about experiences today because I am into experiences. Recently, I got to go to Disney to do work on my next book. And while I was there, we were walking around Disney, and we were studying the characters, the Disney characters. And the princesses in particular, we were in a place called Toontown. And in Toontown, we ran, because I've got my camera, I'm taking pictures of all these people in their various costumes, 6 million costume items in the uniforms for Disney. And I'm taking pictures, and I ran into this guy. And I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm the Princess Police." And I said, "What does that mean, the Princess Police?" He says, "I'm the cop that keeps the mothers in line." And that's when I looked around and realized there were 3 rows of mothers with their little girls. And I said, "Huh?" And just then music swelled, and these curtains opened, and out from the curtains came Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty. And each formed at the head of one of these lines, and the little girls on cue would come up, and Cinderella would get down and talk in whispers. I don't know what they were saying, but on cue, the princess would spin around the little girl, hold her hand like princesses do, and flash. The picture would take, she'd sport the little girl off, and then the next one would come up. The princess cop made sure that the mothers behaved. And as I'm about to walk away, my wife says, "You know, you just don't get it." "What do you mean you don't get it?" She says, "They don't blink." I said, "What do you mean they don't blink?" She says, and then I turned and watched, and sure enough, the princesses on cue, when they turn around and they're looking at the camera, they're trained to not blink. Because the average family to go to Disney now is a $10,000 bill. You do not want to get home and find out that your princess has her eyes closed during the photograph. So they train them not to blink. And so I'm about to walk away, and she says, "You still don't get it." "What do you mean you don't get?" She says, "Well, look at Cinderella's dress and see the little girl with the matching dress. That dress in the gift shop is $160. So I was working with a bunch of crazy people, bus drivers, 120 bus drivers a few weeks ago, and one of the bus drivers said, "Well, Kordell, you still don't get it." "What?" She says, "Those little girls go to the Bippity Bop beauty salon, and there they can not only buy the dress, they can get their nails done, their hair done, their makeup done, and their toes done for a mere $500. That's an experience. So if you look at that and say, well, what bippity boppity beauty salon kind of experience are we getting in our lives? Because if you look, about 100 years ago, the economy was about digging things out of the earth and selling those in quantity. You gathered the eggs, you took them to market and traded those in for bread or shoes. And so to build a birthday cake 100 years ago, you went out and gathered the eggs, milked the cow, got the sugar, and you made the birthday cake, and it was about a 10-cent birthday cake. Well, then we got busy. So the economy morphed, and we packaged those commodities, and we manufactured them into other kind of products that are more high-end. And so now that same birthday cake, because we don't gather the eggs, thank you, Betty Crocker, we put it together for us. Now that 10-cent birthday cake is now $1. Well, the economy moved ahead. We didn't have time to make cakes from scratch. So somebody figured out that we could perform a service and put that cake together for people. In 1995, the service economy, according to the Wall Street Journal, exceeded the manufacturing and packaged goods economy. So by 1995, you bought the same cake, 10 cents, $1, $10. Is that about right, moms, dads? Well, so what comes after a service economy? And the economy today is morphing into the experience economy. Today, the cake is $100. I heard that chuckle. Somebody said, "Kordell, you are smoking dope if you think my kid's getting a $100 birthday cake." But what happens is you take your kid to Chuck E. Cheese, you pay $100, and the cake is free. because you've gone to have an experience. This is the same thing as getting coffee beans, manufacturing them into Folgers, and then manufacturing those into a Starbucks cup of coffee, and then the experience of a sidewalk cafe in Paris. Or 100 years ago, you got it, it was vanilla, and then somebody added some packaging to it and came in strawberry, vanilla, and all the baby boomers. And then the next generation, that's a service economy, you got it, but it was 31 flavors, and today it's 1,000 flavors in an experience called Cold Stone Creamery. Okay, so I come home, my daughter's in the kitchen, and she's wrapped in aluminum foil. I said, what are you doing? She says, you're taking us to Chipotle. I said, why am I taking you to Chipotle? Well, Dad, on Halloween, if you go into Chipotle dressed like a burrito, you get a free burrito. So her friend comes around the corner. My daughter grins. She's got aluminum foil across her teeth. My wife walked up and said, let's go. So we get in the car, we drive to Chipotle. We get out. My daughter walks up. My wife says, I'm on the phone. I walk up with my daughter. We get to Chipotle, and there's a line of aliens coming out of Chipotle. We're standing in line. I'm watching the register. Zero, zero. And I said, well, I want a burrito. My daughter says, there's aluminum foil in the car. So I'm in the parking lot wrapping my body in aluminum foil. My wife says, what are you doing? I said, get off the phone. Why? I said, you got to see this. Get off the phone. She goes in. She's watching the cash register. She said, well, I think I want a burrito too. So I sacrificed some body armor for her. We're on our way out the door. And I said to the manager, what are you doing? He says, well, we find out that on Halloween, on Burrito Day, we give away about $1 million worth of free burritos. But our stock goes up anywhere from $3 to $10 million. Is this experience stuff worthwhile? And so I'm studying for this next book on this experience and taking it to the next level, getting this marketing moxie. And everybody's getting into creating these experiences, these magic moments, this fairy dust, this kind of experience where people tell others, where the customers are magnetized. They're mesmerized by what you do. I've got a video here. Even Hollywood is realizing the power of these experiences in entertainment. You would think entertainment in and of itself is an experience. But just watch and see how Hollywood...
This next one might be a good idea if you just wear your glasses.
All righty.
Okay? All right, so, and, I was also thinking this is, scientists usually wear this. They've kind of traded in a lab coat for this, so let me help you, all right? So, this goes here. Don't worry about it.
All right.
It's fine.
All right.
Good, got it? So this is gonna be perfect. All right, so, if you take Alka-Seltzer and you drop Alka-Seltzer into water, you get this... This is not like war or anything.
Well, no,
this is fine.
Everyone's covered in here. I know something's going to happen.
No, it's fine.
They gave Tony an umbrella. I know something's happening.
Fine. Please hold on to the glass of water.
Okay.
So if you take a glass of water and you just drop Alka-Seltzer, for example, into the glass of water, you get this great bubbling reaction. And it's actually a great way to be able to teach chemistry because it's creating carbon dioxide. So if you could trap that carbon dioxide, totally fine. All right, so here's what I want you to do. This is an antique. It's called a film canister. A long time ago, they used to have film in a camera.
I've read about it.
Yes, and so here's what you do. You put a little bit of water. It's a classic. You put a little water in the film canister, and then you drop the Alka-Seltzer tablet in, and then you just put the lid on. So you and I are going to do this together. I'll be the lid person.
Okay.
You're going to be the Alka-Seltzer person, okay?
Okay.
So these have a little bit of water in them, and here's your Alka-Seltzer tablets.
Okay.
And so you're going to start from
How many
over here.
Alka-Seltzer am I putting
Just
in?
one.
Oh, just one.
So like put one on, and
Okay.
then, yeah, and now I'm going to put the lid on.
Okay.
Now you do the same thing again. You're going to want to go pretty fast.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. Good. Keep going. Good. Oh, wrong one. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So good here, like this, and this one's good. So, sorry. So there's a little bit of Yeah, don't worry about that. It's fine. So what's fun is you turn them upside down like this. For see, is that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that took us a lot of work because it was fast. So my good friend, a guy by the name of Science Bob, said, if you take the Alka-Seltzer tablet and you glue it to the top here like this, then you put the water down below, and then you can turn it over, and it's like a time bomb. So here's what I did. I just put magnets on them like this, and so now watch. I've got 50 of them here. So, all right, so now it's ready to go. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
All right, so now, this is where you come in. You're gonna hold on to this.
No, I'm not.
Of all these times I've been on, this is a no, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
It's fine. I am.
All right.
All right. So watch this. So you turn it over like this, and you see there's a reaction going on in here.
Right.
So it's fine. And sometimes you'll see just a little fizzing going on, and sometimes you can hear it like a little bit of popping, but you can hear the fizzing kind of taking place inside. Sometimes it takes longer than others,
Yep.
but you'll see a little.
Sometimes it takes.
This is yes. So this is where I see it's like a time delay. It's just like a time reaction. They're fun?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My eye!
Sorry. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That's dumb.
A lot of people
That
work here, you know.
That was not very smart.
All right.
But then I was thinking, if you could do this in a classroom and make it bigger, it'd be fun. So if you don't mind, come here and take a look at this.
Yeah.
Right? Just be careful of
Oh, I
this.
see it already.
So here's what I have. Yes, put that on, please. So this is what this is gonna look like. There are 3,000 film canisters under here, all prepared with Alka-Seltzer
Have
tablets.
you tested this?
Never.
No, seriously, have you tested it?
No. Well, we did 200 in rehearsal.
And this is how many?
3,000. Because you always say, go big, right?
I do.
And if you're gonna get kids excited about science,
Yep.
this is how you're gonna do it.
Okay.
So here's what you and I are gonna do. We're gonna start with this one, we're gonna tip it over, then we're gonna tip this one over, and then we're gonna stand here and enjoy.
All right.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, come
What
over
about
here.
these people?
No,
What-
they're fine.
All right. All right.
These are fine. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so you get on this end over here.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna just flip it over. Ready? 1, 2, 3, flip it over. Good. Okay, now come over here with me. All right, flip this over. Okay, here it goes. All right, good. Nice. All right, now this is what's good about this, is that these are just gonna, oopsie, we should do this. We should I've never actually done this many before. Oh, that's pretty good. What do you think? It's done. Ta-da.
Wow!
I think that's fun.
That's amazing!
That's called an experience. And so whether it's a rock group or the people that are performing in the rock group, which by the way, if you say, well, I would like to go get all those rock musicians, they're gonna need ear apparatus to play. Where do you advertise for rock musicians? So if you go to this website, this is where all the rock musicians go, and you think, well, why am I not advertising in the column of this website where all the rock musicians go? Or Harley Davidson. The president of Harley Davidson said, what we sell is the ability for a 43-year-old accountant to get dressed up in leather and go drive small towns, scare them to death on weekends, right? Well, so how many of us have marketed to the Harley dealers, right? Or Duck Dynasty? Because here's all these people shooting guns. Do they need help with their ears? Oh yeah, these are crazy people. They need help with their hearing, right? So all those hunters. How many of us have been into the local Cabela's, the local Bass Pro Shop to do our marketing, right? So Sally Hogshead said, our research has shown that people will pay 50% more to have a fascinating experience, that fascinating. So it's big bucks. Ford Motor said that we don't sell cars anymore. We're a software company that just happens to manufacture cars. So everybody's realizing they've got to get to this next stage. because satisfied customers require you to discount your pricing 13%. But customers where there's an experience, there's a 23% premium over your normal pricing that they will pay for that. That's a 36-point difference. That's not bad. If you could increase your profits by 36 points, that's not bad. And so the question is, how do you create an experience? So on the table in front of you is a card. It's in the middle. It's got my picture on it. There's a whole bunch of them. Reach in and pass those out. So if you've got that card, and pass those out, they've been shuffled. Now, here's what we're going to do on this card is everybody promise me you won't talk to your neighbors because you will screw them up. I'm promising you. Because the answer is not the same, okay? And to yourself, what I want you to do is I want everybody on the card with the side with my face. Do you see the typo? If you find a typo, you're a sick person. There's no typos on that card. But on the count of 3, I want everybody to read that long sentence one time and then just turn over the card real quick. On your mark, get set, go. To yourself. Okay? My niece called me and she said, Uncle Kordell, you got to hear about the girls. She's got girls ages 7 and 9. And they were arguing. The 7-year-old said to the 9-year-old, well, you're fat. And the 9-year-old said to the 7-year-old, well, you're fat. And the 7-year-old said, well, you're so fat, nobody wants to buy. And the 90-year-old said, well, you're so fat, you can't wear my hand-me-down clothes. The 7-year-old, you're so fat. And Jenny said, you kids, stop it. The next girl that says fat is grounded for a week. Do you understand? She said about 2 weeks went by. They were at church, junior Sunday school, little sea of faces sitting on the floor, cross-legged. And their minister, their pastor got up and he said, kids, we need to be better people. In our homes, we need to be better people. What should you be doing in your homes? And Jenny's little girl raised her hand. He said, yes. She said, well, in our house, we don't use the F word anymore. So I'll tell you what, let's do this time. On your sentence, in silence to yourself, turn over your card and count how many F's in your sentence. On your mark, get set, go. And then just turn the card over. How many F's are in your sentence? Okay. Okay, so by the show of hands, who got 2 F's on their card? All the 2s, okay? Who got 3? Show of hands. Any 4s? Few 4s. They were almost all gone. 5s. Any 5s? A lot of 5s. Any 6s? Okay, now again, don't talk to your neighbor. Just double check yourself. Okay, again, just let's double check. Who has the 2 F's? Still? 3 F's? 4 F's? Okay, 5 F's. Okay, where's the 2? Tell me your name. Lindsay? Linda, are you a good sport? Linda is the best reader in the room. You got 2 F's? Okay, so what I want you to do is, who at your table has 6? Does anybody have 6? Anybody behind you, does anybody have 6? Trade with Linda, you're 6. In fact, everybody trade cards with everybody. Just give your 2 to your 3 to a 5 and a 5 to a 1 and just trade cards with everybody. Okay? Linda, how many on that card? There's 2. She says there are 2. You are crazy. There are not 6 on that card. There's 2. There's 3. There's 3. Okay, I want you guys to watch. All you who had 2 or 3 at your table, raise your hands. Okay, I want you guys to look at those that have got their hands up their table, and I want you to watch their faces. Okay? Tell me how many F's, Linda, or how many of the times the word of is in that sentence? She just laughed. So how many F's are there now on that card? There are 6 F's on that card. Why did that happen? Guys, you've got to understand. Tom, how many did you get? Tom, how many did you get? You got 1? He's a slow reader. So what happened was, you are programmed to not see the F's. When you went to read, when Linda went to read, she read the word OF, and she said off. And her teacher said, no, sweetheart. That word is of, O-V. No, it's an F. No, it's V. O-V, 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 O-V. Whenever you read it, you just need to switch that to a V. And all her life, she's read that O-V, 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 O-V. Until literally, those of you that got 2, 3 F's, you literally turn them off. You don't read them because it's an F. There's a term for that in medicine. It's called a scotoma, or a blind spot. We all have them. In fact, those that read 2 or 3, they're the better readers in the classroom. Those of you that got 6, there's a medical term for you too. Okay? And you can be programmed for this. So let me show you how this works. I'll spell it, you guys say it. You ready? T-O. T-O-O. Gets harder. T-W-O. And the second day of the week is? Tuesday. Now, which says, what have you been programmed to see or not see? So on your table, take out your pen. I've got something for you to do. Take a piece of paper, any piece of paper on your table, and I want you to write the answer to this question. I want you to write the names of 3 shampoos. Just real quick, write the names of 3 shampoos. Just think about it. This is part because all the bald guys are looking at the ceiling. Three shampoos. Okay, you got them? Now I want you to see this, another informal survey. All you who wrote down Prel, raise your hands. Off the market for 25 years. She said, I've never even used it, and I wrote it down. Well, see what happens is, you the consumer, there's about 1 million stock keeping units that you can buy. 8-ounce Prel, 16-ounce Prel, and so you have all these choices. Well, the typical supermarket can only put about 40,000 of them in their store. And so what happens is, you have to kind of select, and you have what's known as a memory folder, or a memory bucket. And if I say shampoo, you've got some names in your shampoo. And since you go shopping, only about 150 to 180 of the items do you buy. Because you buy the same yogurt, and you buy the same pantyhose. And my wife likes them too, you know. And so you buy the same stuff over and over again because you've got these folders, and you only let so much go in the folders. And so what happens is, people understand I got to get in a folder. I have to have a unique folder. So if I said to you, shampoo for dandruff, oh, well, there's another folder. Or for babies, Johnson & Johnson. See, so you have these unique folders where we put other shampoos in there. And so if you're selling hearing aids, you ask the question, what folder am I in? Where is my brand, my message, my value being communicated to my customers? Because these programs, you can do some great jobs on programming. The first president of the United States, George Washington. You guys are kind of slow. You're a little worried now. First man to fly across the Atlantic in an airplane. Lindbergh, right? And number one in rental cars? Right. Well, those are all wrong. Because the truth of the matter is, the first person to be president of the United States was not George Washington, it was James Hansen. Okay? And yeah, you'll have to go check it out. You'll say, this guy is weird. And if you say Hertz is number one, number two, because they try harder? Avis. But the truth of the matter is, a unique folder for those that bring rental cars to your home, Enterprise. Enterprise is actually bigger than Avis and Hertz combined. So you don't have to be number one in the folder. You just want to be cognizant that you have a place, a spot in your customer's mind, and you want to be aware of that spot. Now, if I go to the store and I buy some of these Hershey Kisses, how much do I pay for this? $2.69. $4, okay? And where do I buy this? Everywhere, right? Would you give these as a gift? Guys, pay attention. Because if I go to my wife and I say, she will do this. Okay? So as you give these as a gift, how do you give these as a gift? You disguise them. Put them in a coffee mug with tissue, right? Strap them to a teddy bear and say, hugs and kisses. Right? You buy these where? Everywhere. And pile them deep, sell them cheap, right? Why is it when I pull out, there's a sexual response in the room? It's like, oh. Okay, and this is what? How do you know? Chocolate radar. Do you give this as a gift? In fact, there's a proper way. It looks like this. Right? And so if this is $3.50, same weight, how much is this? $10 times the price. And where is this sold? In the Godiva store, which is right next to the jewelry store. Because what he does is he goes in and he looks at the jewelry and he says, I'm not in that much trouble. And he goes next door. Okay. So what you've got is you've got the same thing. And so when you go hunting, you can go out in your backyard and you can throw rocks and hit rabbits, right? Or you can go out in the backyard, well, not so much, but it takes special permits and tour guides and special to go hunt elephants. And the question is, in your business, which one do you want to go hunt for? Because this is cash flow, easier to come by, but boy, you can eat a long time on an elephant, right? But each deserves their own messaging. Each has its own messaging. So as you start looking at what you offer and start asking yourself, how can I differentiate myself? I went to Times Square. I picked up something from the M&M store. Now, when you go to the M&M store, you have to take out your wallet. And once you take out your wallet, you know you are going to use it because they will set it on fire. And so as you take your wallet out, you're going to find that money just vacuumed out because you can go buy a bag of M&Ms that's 55 cents at the store, but you will pay $5 for this at the M&M store because it's in experience, okay? So same products, just wrap it around an experience and the price goes up, right? And so as you start thinking, who am I shooting for? Who am I marketing to, the rabbit or the elephant? Who am I really connecting with? Now you're talking about something that's known as your brand or your equity. Equity in your house, equity in stocks and bonds, and your equity is your brand. And these brands come in all different shapes and sizes. They have different names that they're associated with. And I start saying brands, and you start thinking about, oh, I know what these brands are. I know what they have values. They represent something of value to us. And so your brand, the folder that you're in, and the presence you have has a powerful impact in the marketplace. Well, brands then, how do I create these experiences? Well, you have to realize that first it's about expectations. If I say to you the brand of Levi's, what do you think about? Right, and the original purchasers of Levi's were who? Miners. 1849 in San Francisco, the miners would buy Levi's. So why do they stand out? Well, because a miner would take their gold nuggets and they would put them where when they found them? In their pockets. Back then, the pockets were sewn on the front of the pants. And so if you fill your pockets with rocks, the pockets would rip off the pants. Well, there's a problem with that because miners don't wear underwear. And so you can't go to town with your pockets ripped off. It just doesn't work. And so they went to Mr. Levi Strauss and said, hey, can you take some good, solid canvas material and make us some pants? Sure. So he attached the pockets using rivets because he found out that rivets just don't tear. So he put them everywhere. He put them on the pockets. He put them on the inseam. He put them on the pants. Now, here's the problem you run into if you're making Levi's. When you get a miner and he goes out to get warm by the fire, do you think I can make that happen again? He goes out to get warm by the fire, and there's a rivet in your inseam. When you stand up, that's called an experience. And so the brand is the combination of the customer's expectations, the experience, and the events that are wrapped around that experience. So, for an example, you guys may have heard, some of you may have heard of a product called no-name generics. Who's ever heard of no-name generics? Remember those, the white cans that said corn? What idiot came up with that idea? Well, that was me. I introduced no-name generics in the grocery business in the late 1970s here in the United States. And it was a fun business while it lasted, you know. No quality, no packaging, no sales force, no marketing. You've got a blast, kick the crap out of the big brands. So I've always kind of had an interest in the whole grocery business since then. Now, when you guys came in, you all looked at me. I got up here and I know what you all said. You looked at me and you all said, sex symbol. I get that a lot. And so, sex symbol that I am, I said to my wife, well, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. First of all, who's ever been to this store? It's called Aldi's. Has anybody been to Aldi's? Some of you are uninitiated or come from the West Coast. Let me tell you about this store. When you pull up to this store, the first thing you do is you participate in the ceremony of the quarters. Because you don't get a grocery cart, you have to plug a quarter in to get a cart released to you. Or I tell you that because some men said, I went there to see what you're talking about. I said to this lady, hey, let me take your cart. She said, okay. She said, well, where's my quarter? He said, what do you mean? I want a quarter. He said, I almost got beat to a pulp. So you get your cart about the size of a small aircraft carrier, and you push it into the store. Now, those of you who have been to Aldi's, shelves, no shelves. Choices, no choices. You buy the bread, and instead of paying $1.80, $2.50, you pay 79 cents. You buy saltines crackers, instead of them being $2.50, they're 89 cents. What is one of the news shows, if you shop here, not late night, anyway, they said you shop here, you'll decrease your grocery bill by 25 to 45%. Great prices, but no choices. Great products, and you take your cart filled with all these goods and you push them up to the check stand to be checked out. Customer service at Aldi's sucks. You take your groceries out, you put them on the belt, they go down the belt, somebody is sitting on their butt, waving your food, putting them back in your cart. You buy your own bags, because they will charge you for bags. You pay for them, you push your groceries over to another counter. You should see all the women going, You push your cart over, you take the groceries back out of the cart for the second time, put them in the bag, put them back, the bags in the cart, push the cart out to the car where you then take the grocery cart back. Because I'm not doing this much work and they're my quarter. So Friday night, the sex symbol that I am, I said to my wife, hey, let's go to this new grocery store. It's called Trader Joe's. Oh, listen to this, the party animals are over here. Because Trader Joe's is famous for their what? What's it called? $3 Chuck wine. See? Owned by the same company. I said to this gal at Trader Joe's, how much wine do you sell a week? She said, we're one of the smaller stores, so we only sell 2,000 cases a week. That's a party. So I took my wife into Trader Joe's. When you go into Trader Joe's, these guys have the whole experience down because all the employees are dressed in Hawaiian shirts. They found that when you're on vacation, you will eat stuff you don't normally eat. You will buy things you don't normally buy. All the signs are hand-lettered. They have 2 full-time artists in each store just to hand-letter signs and do. Can you imagine that? Artists. Can you draw? Show us. You're hired. So we're going through this Trader Joe's store. We're at the frozen foods case. And I said to my wife, one of these cheesecakes is awesome. Which one, I wonder, she says. Just then this gal comes down the aisle. She's got this box. She puts it on the counter, and she's putting stuff on the shelf. And I said, excuse me, can you tell me which of these cheesecakes is the best one? She puts the box down. She says, it depends. On what? Are you having a party? I don't know. Well, this is the personal side. It'll feed a family of 3 or 4 for maybe 2 meals, but this is the party size. It'll feed a group of like 15, 16 people. Personal size, party size. But do you like creamy? Renee says, oh, I love creamy. She says, this is the new New York creamy. It's to die for. But do you like key lime pie? Renee says, oh, I love key lime pie. Well, this is the new key lime pie. It's better than the cream. Shoot, 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 shoot. 4 cheesecakes go in my cart. She says, do you like omelets? Renee says, yes. She says, come with me. I'm watching this gal walk away. Who here has been to Eugene, Oregon? Anybody? Go Ducks. Because if you've been to Eugene, Oregon, everybody in Eugene kind of got stuck in 1969. It's like the whole town. It's like they all smoke pot rolled up in a pamper. Dude! dude. Go Ducks. Just kidding. But I think Trader Joe's hires all their employees in Eugene, Oregon. Because this gal, she's helping us. She looks like she's had a fight with a box of fishing lures. Stuff has pierced her. So she says to Renee, well, come down here. See, this is stir fry. But you put it in your omelet, and it's awesome. Shoo, that goes in the cart. She says, do you like lobster? Come with me. They go down the aisle. $120 later, I'm checking out at Trader Joe's with my bags with handles on them. When the stalker, S-T-A-L-K-E-R, comes up and says to Renee, here. She hands her a bouquet of flowers. Oh, come on. She says, these are for you because you're my best customer today. We get in the car, I look at the flowers, I look at her, and she says they were probably going to throw them away. We get home, she puts them in a vase, and whew, they were buds. 2 weeks, people would come over and say, what'd the sex symbol do? Oh no, I had to go to the grocery store to get flowers. Well, the reason for that is there are two brothers that are in the top 20 richest men in the world. They own a chain of discount stores across Europe, across the face of the globe, 5,000 stores called the Albrecht Brothers, and their stores are called the Albrecht Discount Stores, or Aldi's. They own both of these. Rabbits or elephants? Godivas or, see? So your message, whether it be Prel, whether it be, is in some place in the mind of the customer, and they have certain expectations, experiences, that they have about you and your product. And how you position yourself allows you to stand out in the marketplace. And you need to be aware that these brands carry with them a profound emotional experience. And why is emotion so powerful? Because emotion causes motion. Motion is a derivative of the word motivated. And so you're looking for emotion and motivated customers. And so you start asking the questions, well, what does that mean? How does motivation have an impact? I have here example A, the generic no-name chapstick. But what you do is you go buy this chapstick, which is how much? $1. But this is in the classic original package. But then what happens is, will your daughter, oh wait, we got to wear the right hat. Will your daughter use chapstick? No, she wants something that's classier. And so she will wear something, she will use something called Burt's Bees. So if this is $1, wherever it went, how much is Burt's Bees? $4, $4.99, right? Now, guys, is it manly to carry around Burt's Bees? No, because no man in his right mind would carry around Burt's Bees. So what you buy is you buy this item. This is called, if I don't show you the graphic, you won't believe it. This is called chicken poop lip junk. By the way, it's free-range chicken poop lip junk. It's all natural, although it contains no poop. But I went on their website, and it says, Grandpa said, if you got chapped lips, if you'll put chicken poop on them, you'll never lick them. I said to the gal in the store, really? She said, hey, that other stuff, you put it on your lips and it goes in your stomach and it stays there for weeks. I said, I don't eat it. She said, but it's the same. It's all natural. Well, you don't buy this in Walmart. You have to go to the Tractor Supply store to get this. Testosterone. You can just smell it. And so you think, well, how far can I take this memory folder thing where I can stand out? How far can I take it? My daughter brought us this item, Christmas. Here, Mom, Dad, I love you. This is called Kiss Sticks. Kiss Sticks. And they have one in here that's pina colada, and the other one is strawberry daiquiri. So Renee puts on one, I put on the other, and we have a heck of a time. So she put on hers, I put on mine, and I kissed her, and my daughter said, yee. Right? How far can you make your brand stand out? How far can you make the experience go? And so we're really talking about this book that you all have got. And the book has, I need to tell you where the book came from. In the 1980s, I worked for a company that sold the first Apple computer ever sold, serial number 11. So we were the largest seller of personal computers in the United States, worked there for quite a while, and we sold 5,000 to 7,000 personal computers a day. Well, as I worked my way up that food chain, there was one meeting we were having with Apple, and they said something about, well, we'll make that product a lot better. We're going to do some experiential marketing. I said, what'd he say? Experiential marketing. And so I thought, I'm going to research what that is. So I started watching. I had to ask the question, what is a life-changing experience? And then I realized that when you create life-changing experiences, you can have a huge impact in the minds of people, right? So for an example, what are some life-changing experiences that y'all, right? Or if you're from Texas, all y'all. What are some life-changing experiences that all y'all have? This is the audience participation part. Marriage. Children? Drinking? Oh, raising children. That's an experience. Any others? Vacations? Vacation? Anniversary? Getting engaged? Getting divorced? Birth? Death? Right? Life-changing experiences. And so I asked myself, what are the components of an experience? And so let's walk through these. And this is in the book that our friends at Phonak greatly to their, they bought one for everybody. Are they awesome or what? Yeah. So here are the parts of an experience. So you're supposed to, as some of you know, it's called CASE. That's C-A-S-E. That stands for copy and steal everything. So you're supposed to case these. So here's the parts of an experience. Number one, D stands for dollars. Because a great experience has money involved. You're not going to go to Disney unless you pay to get in the parking lot, pay to get in the park, pay to get something to eat, and you're not leaving till you buy something with ears on it. So there are dollars involved. And good dollars if it's a great experience. R stands for raiment. Raiment is an Old Testament term. It means clothing. And great experiences have a change of clothing associated with them. The birth of the baby, a change is scrubs or a gown. At a wedding, it's a white dress. It's tuxedos. At a graduation, it's cap and gown. And so at a golf tournament, and so the question is, what does the clothing of your hearing assistance organization, what colors are associated with your business? Do you have to use all these? There's an old joke amongst professional speakers that says, do you have to use humor to be a professional speaker? And the answer is No, only if you want to get paid. And so, do you have to use these to stand out from everybody else? No, only if you want to stand out and get recognized. The more you can incorporate these into your business, the more you'll stand out. The more you'll have a folder for you and your business and the marketing that represents the value you bring to the marketplace. So clothing. What is the clothing associated with your business? A stands for authority figure. This is a who said of the greatest magnitude, somebody we give great credibility. By the power vested in me, I declare you and you, man and wife. Does anybody have a problem with that? Okay, you're married. Put the toilet lid down and put the cap on the toothpaste. Okay. I was single yesterday. I'll act totally different tomorrow. By the power vested in me by the state of, I now declare you doctors. Take the scalpel and go cut on somebody. Okay. I couldn't yesterday, but I can today. And why do we give these people this authority? Oh, because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, right? Because if I just had a brain, you got to go see the wizard. Well, if I just had courage, you got to go see the wizard. Well, you got to go see the wizard. The wizard is the one that will give you. And so who is the authority figure in your business? It's usually that person that has initials after their name. But then you can make authority figures of other people in your business, give them credibility, to give them depth, give them horsepower, to give them substance, to create experiences. Okay? Authority figures. After S comes S for sound, right? Because great experiences have sound involved. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, okay? So great experiences have sound involved. And right along with that sound is, because it works, is thirst. Because great experiences have liquid. It's the champagne at the wedding. It's the beer at the graduation party. You're going to swim on it. You're going to cruise through it. You're going to smoke it. No, not smoke it. But there is thirst involved. Great liquids involved. And I stands for illumination. Because you can't have a romantic dinner without there being candlelight. And you can't have a presentation unless there's spotlights in your eyes, right? And so this illumination is something you have to start asking yourself. How do I alter the illumination of my office, of my experience, so they walk away saying, wow, that was a great thing. Whether it's a video showing on the wall and those electrons or a change in lighting, the illumination creates the experience. And the last one is calories. Because that's why we must save the earth. It's the only place we know that has chocolate. We must save the earth, right? And so when you go to register for IHS, they have there the package of chocolates, right? And whether it's Bubba Gumps or it's, you go to these places and have great experiences, right? Well, we started with Disney. Let's kind of close with Disney. I went to Disney with Renee. It was a few years prior. I'm a 5-hour-a-night sleep guy, and I had Renee, and I got 6 kids. Five were off the payroll, and so I took the youngest with us, and they were sleeping. So I got up 5 o'clock in the morning, didn't want to wake them, so we were in Orlando. I went to the happiest place on earth. I went to Walmart. And while I'm shopping at Walmart, I found this thing. You put it around your belt, right? And you fasten it around your belt, and it has this tube on it, a hose that snakes up. You attach it to your shirt. You fill this thing up with water, and you pump it up, and it puts pressure of this water, and then you open the end of the hose, and it sprays out a light mist. And in hot Orlando, July, we're walking down Main Street, and it's like 150 already at 10 in the morning. We're just having fun. And I said, guys, we better get to Pirates of the Caribbean first, because everybody's going to get there. The movie just came out. We better get down there first thing. So we head down to Pirates of the Caribbean. We get to Pirates of the Caribbean, and we meet Brett. Now, Brett, how do I know he was Brett? Because that's what his name tag said, Brett. And he had buckles on his shoes and a sword in his belt, sash and a patch over one eye. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, how's this Fast Pass thing? He says, oh, you want to know about the Fast Pass, do ya? Well, I tell you, just take your card over there and put it in the machine and give you a point. But I just suggest you go on the ride right now. There be no what lines whatsoever. Only at Disney, And I said, okay. And the thing is around my belt, but Rachel's got the hose at ease. And he turns to Rachel and he says, "Aye, lass, and what can I be doing for you today?" And she opens up the end of the hose. And it's going in his face. And he pulls the sword out of his belt. And he says, "'Tis a poor excuse for a frontal attack." He says, "Can but thwart that with little effort." And he goes, and puts his finger on the end of the hose. And I thought, only at Disney do you take something that's as simple as going to wait in line and turn it into an experience. These opportunities are everywhere. Well, I want to thank you for being here. I have 3 minutes. Isn't that about right? I want to close with something. This is more for me than for you. Because, see, what happens is we're given these precious insights at a conference like this, and we may not choose to take these nuggets with them and go use them in life. And you got to use them quick before it's too late. I've never told an audience this before. This is the first I've ever told this to. A year and a half, almost 2 years ago, on my 35th wedding anniversary, Renee and I got a call. We went in and the doctor said, "Congratulations, Kordell, you have cancer." Bummer of an anniversary present, right? So to answer the question before we go there, it's gone. Whoop that beggar. I'm good to go, right? Thank you. But the part that happens is when you say, "Gosh, this thing's going to end," you find yourself saying, "What have I done with the gifts that I've been given? Have I really applied, or have I squandered them away in the life of busyness that is thrust upon us over and over every day? So much going on, or have I slowed down to do that with those talents that I was giving?" So I want to end with the parable of the prodigal son in the key of F. We started with the F sentence. Let's end with the parable of the prodigal son in the key of F. You remember? Took his dad's money, went to Vegas, lost the money, spent all his time working on a pig farm, says, "This is stupid, I'm starving, I'm going back home." His brother said, "Look, loser." Dad says, "Yeah, but bring him home. Let's get him to use his talents." So here you go. Feeling footloose and frisky, a foolish fellow forced his father to fork over his fourth of the family farthings, and he fast fled to a foreign field where he frittered his father's fortune, feasting foolishly with friends and folly. Well, flushed by friends and folly, he found himself a feed flinger on a filthy farm. Flushed and fairly famished, he fain would have filled his frame with the foraged food from the farm fodder. My father's flunkies fare far finer, the frustrated fugitive forlornly fumbled. I do this for me because it's fun to watch your faces going. So frustrated, he flees forthwith to his father figure, and falling at his father's feet, he says, "Father, I have flunked and frugalously forfeited family favor." Well, the frustrated fugitive's fault-finding brother frowned on fickle forgiveness, but the faithful father figure said, "The fugitive is found. What forbids further festivities? Let the flags unfurl and the fanfares flare." So father flagged the flunky and fetched the fatling from the flock, and they fixed a feast. Well, the final moral of the story is the frustrated fugitive's faithful father figure fixed and formed the foundation for all future fortune and fortitude. Thanks for letting me be here, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you. A t-shirt. No.
That was awesome. Thanks, Kordell.